talking about education, actually, Kenny, because you had a video up on Facebook. I think it was back in August of last year. It was in the summer of last year, anyway. And you talked about it was kind of to do with anxiety, but it was obviously more to do with race. Um, can you remember the video?
I think it was for the Black and Irish
Yeah,
page, and
yeah.
it was sort of so that was before I was with them, but they reached out to me to sort of do a video or post about like how I feel about the whole issue and like what my feelings on the matter and like what people can do. And yeah, at the time it was really, for me, I wouldn't say it was from a place of pain or like, but it was really hard at that time because like there was a lot happening. Last year was, especially obviously being in the pandemic, that was one thing. And then the whole George Floyd incident, and then sort of the whole bringing up all these like race issues and all these things that happened sort of in your past that you sort of like you suppress and you don't realize and you don't really talk about. I remember we had it, like me and the boys, we had an episode around that time and we were chatting about it. And there's a lot of things that like you sort of brush over and you're like, that was actually not cool at all. That was something that like maybe it didn't sort of hurt us at the time, but it was something that does affect you and it shouldn't have happened. So like I was very fed up at that time. I'll be honest. And like I tried to speak as sort of honestly as possible about my feelings and how I felt about the issue and how like what people can do and how I've been in scenarios where I felt quite nervous and I felt quite sort of anxious. And I suppose that's one of the big things where I would say like my mental health has sort of come to fore, where I'm in scenarios or in situations that I feel really, really aware of myself. Like, I suppose I'll give you an example. So me and my girlfriend, it was really good weather last week. So we went up to this place called Port Stewart, Portrush, up north. Sort of, it's near where she lives. So she wanted to show me that it was just a really nice port area and stuff like that. And one of the big things that I didn't say it to her, she probably won't hear this, she will only hear it here. But one of the big things I was really nervous about was like being the only or one of the few sort of ethnic people there or Black people there, because like Ireland, you think like Ireland, there's like not that many Black people, but in Northern Ireland, it's even less Black people. And sort of in sort of Portrush and Port Stewart, where it's very for the local and stuff like that, there'd be even less Black people. So part of me we were going to the beach and I felt there was times when I was feeling quite nervous and I was just feeling like I didn't want to get stares. I didn't want to sort of feel out of place and stuff. And I spoke about this in that video where there's been certain scenarios where you just feel out of place and you feel really sort of like people are watching you and people have eyes on you. And like that, I suppose that in your head, you sort of, it can just be quite nerve-wracking. And I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's just quite like, you try and enjoy yourself, but you can't because you're still very wary of your surroundings. Yeah. And like, it wasn't until, so when we got to the beach, there was a few other sort of Black people on the beach. And then I felt a bit more relaxed. And it was strange. It's just because like, I don't know that from Adam, they were like literally like a good bit away from me, but like the fact they were there just made it feel a lot more comforting, you know? And I think I said in that video, there's been times when I've been sort of in work or in college or like in bars and stuff like that, where I'm really and truly the only Black person there. And that is scary. Like it can be quite scary because you just don't know people's intentions and you don't know how people feel about you. And that's I think as Black people, that's something that really can affect you, because you're always on edge. You're always like, am I going into this? Are people going to like me for me? Or are people going to, like, if people don't like me because they think I'm a dick, that's fine. That's cool. I can accept that. Like my mom has raised me to like know that like some people just won't like you. It's cool.
Yeah.
But like if people don't like me because of my race or because of my background, then it's like, but I'm not like, can I do to help that? Like, I'm not, like, there's nothing I can do, you know? So that's, I suppose, in that aspect, it is quite nerve-wracking. And it is probably, for me, the times when I feel most anxious, when I'm going into that sort of environment, when like you're going into a job interview and like, or you're going into work and like you're one of the only Black people there. You just you're always on edge because there's someone's actually another. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit,
No,
but
you're
it's
good.
just it's like I started this new lady started at my workplace a couple of months back, and she's from South Africa, and so obviously she's sort of the situation there is completely different, and she's a mixed race lady, and she was telling me that she said something really interesting. She was like, you feel invisible most of the time because like nobody really cares if you like if you're Black, but you do still feel very visible because if something happens or something goes off, you feel like you're the first person that's going to get the blame, or you're the first person that's going to be pointed to, and like that can be quite scary and quite unnerving. Like it's quite hard to explain to white people sometimes, and it's quite hard to sort of like sometimes it's like I've tried to explain this to like my girlfriend and stuff like that, and it's quite hard for her to understand, which is fair enough. But like it is something that can be quite unnerving, and I think that's what I mentioned in the video, and I suppose that's where people need to try and help do better and try and sort of increase the diversity in different areas, and then so people don't feel like they're the odd one out, or people don't feel like they are the sort of token Black person, or that if I am louder than everybody else, it's because I am Black or I'm angry and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so those kind of things.